Well, boy, I was not expecting this. So yeah, Kishimoto cannot stop dropping bombs with this. It is literally ridiculous. I cannot believe he keeps doing this. So yes, he unapologetically confirmed that there is in fact an Ouranos Island update coming, which I was not expecting. So I'm going to read the entire thread for you before I get into what I think about it. So the tweet that Kishimoto is replying to here is a tweet asking why the original Kronos Island was divided into 3 to make the release games Kronos, Rhea, and Ouranos. So here is his reply. Hello, as you might guess, Kronos was originally one island. When we did playtests in the early stages of production, we received a lot of feedback from testers saying that the island was too big and that it was boring, all the grass, and boring. Now, I do understand this point that just seeing miles and miles of grass would be a little bit boring. Because looking at Kronos as an environment, I understand it because it is pretty desolate. But I understand where this is coming from. So he replies to himself here saying, various modifications and ideas were incorporated to solve this problem. But one of them was to make the island smaller and move to the next island before getting tired of the scenery of the first island to play and enjoy the scenery. I decided to divide Kronos Island into parts so that players wouldn't get bored with the look of it, not just the gameplay. Once again, while I wish that they would have kept Kronos as one massive island, I still think that this wasn't a bad compromise. Honestly, I think Kronos is a good size. I enjoy it because it may be smaller and I wish it was a little bigger, but honestly, just the fact that there's so much platforming crammed into this small area makes it a lot more fun because sometimes in Chaos and Ares, you'll just be running around and there's just nothing. This game doesn't have much going on because like the pop-in, like you can't see stuff, so it feels very empty, or more than it already is. So having a smaller island does make the play more compressed, if you will, and I do think that's a bonus, but yeah, I don't think this is the best way to go, but it wasn't the worst. He continues with these fixes, we were able to get a positive evaluation in the next playtest, and it became the current shape where the island becomes wider as you go further. Now here it is, here is the big tweet that all the buzz is about. However, as everyone has pointed out here, I also agree that the climax of Ouranos Island, which is the largest island, lacks excitement and becomes repetitive. We are currently working on an update for this issue as well. Exclamation mark. So there it is. He really dropping bombs like it's nothing. And that's crazy to me. I absolutely love this account, by the way, before I even say anything. It's awesome that this is just like a guy. You know what I mean? Like he's not corporate in any way. He's just posting stuff. He's like, yeah, I happen to direct these games and here's what we're doing. That's kind of it. It feels very local, if you will. It doesn't feel like it's exclusive. It feels like this dude is just telling you what's going on. And it's really nice. It's kind of a breath of fresh air in comparison to kind of the secretive corporate that Sega has sometimes. So having this just genuine, just regular kind of dude telling you what's going on it's nice. I enjoy that a lot. So something that you'll quickly notice is that he's pretty vague and never alludes to what they'd really be changing. So I thought that I'd jump in and tell you simply what I would change if I could change it. Now, of course, this is not really a prediction. I think some of these could easily happen, but they're not really predictions. This is just kind of wishful thinking, if you will. So to kick things off, we have one that will most likely happen, is to simply make Supreme more difficult. Yes, Supreme is a pretty interesting boss mechanically. It has some cool ideas. I love the laser, and there's some awesome unused QTEs. I hope that they bring those back as well, but the main thing would be just giving him more health. Making him by far the most difficult boss health-wise would make it so much better. Because as it stands right now, all of the other Titans are definitely nothing to laugh at, but boy, they are not difficult. And so I think it would be fun if this wasn't really difficult, it was just a punching bag, kind of like Giganto again, but you really got to put your end-game skills to the test. I think it would be kind of interesting. And also, honestly, we need more platforming. Like, the other islands, while they're not necessarily full of stuff to do, they're definitely not completely desolate. But boy, Ouranos just has, like, almost nothing. It's just a really barren map with just the terrain and a couple rails to go around, and that's like it. There's really no interesting landmarks apart from the cool pyramid and this kind of wall climbing section with the caterpillar in the middle. That's actually pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. But honestly, platforming wise, there's just really not that much going on. There's these big open fields, but there's just nothing in them. I mean, I know that's kind of a trend for the whole game, but in comparison, yeah, there's really just not much going on. And speaking of platforming, we also know that the spin dash is being added, of course, and I hope this would apply to everything else, but if they're going to change something, I hope that they would add platforming that complements the spin dash. Makes it where that spin dash is directly used in platforming. And that would just be so cool, because I hope that they don't add this new spin dash feature, and then it may be cool, but I just don't want it to be useless. And so, speaking of the spin dash, we need to add back just, not a bunch, but just a decent helping of momentum. I know that people are tired of that word going around, and honestly, like, I am as well. I would see momentum in Sonic Frontiers functioning more as a way to enhance the gameplay, because people are always like, boost versus momentum, but truthfully, I think boost would be enhanced with momentum. Make it where the boost is a way to get speed, but the momentum is a way to skillfully make that even faster. So I think that the low-level player would be able to get through all the platforming just fine, but a skillful player would be able to get through that same challenge just as easy, but would be able to do it faster because of knowledge of the level. That's what I believe in. I'm not all about just, it has to be one or the other. I've always believed that they can coexist, because I don't think boost is necessarily a style. I think it is simply a mechanic. And so for my final thing, I wish that they would have combined Rhea and Ouranos Island. I think this would have been a good compromise. Because in my opinion, I don't want the OG island back. I just don't think there's a way to make that fit in the narrative. Like there's just no reasonable way to fix that. Once they made that change, there's kind of no going back. So I think they should combine Rhea and Ouranos. I think this is a good fix because, number one, they're right after each other. You're not skipping across the game's narrative. And number two, well, they basically go hand in hand in the scheme of things. Ouranos is just continuing after Rhea. That's it. And so I think if they combined it and made it where the towers actually showed up on Ouranos, that would be awesome. But yeah, that's really about it. I just wanted to talk about some cool things that I would personally add to this update because it is super exciting that they're doing anything like this at all. It's awesome to see that, game developers, particularly from Sonic Team of all things, are just saying that here's the problem, now we're gonna fix it. And that is wild to me, and I'm so happy to see that Sonic Team is really cracking down with Frontiers. I mean, honestly, Sonic Team is back. People are always like, Sonic is back or Sega is back. Honestly, I gotta give more claps to Sonic Team, because Sonic Team did so much more than Sega did, because Sega is doing better because they're willing to give Sonic Team budget now, but still, I really think Sonic Team is really doing all of the work here, because I mean, heck, they made the game, but you get my point. And so, with that said, I hope you enjoyed. If you are, in fact, new to this channel, thank you for coming up. I'm not gonna let that slide under the table. Visiting a new channel means a lot to me, so just want to give a shout out. That's very cool of you. Thank you. And so, with that said, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.